I just could not decide where to start today. I mean, look at what is happening right now. We cannot secure the border, but Joe Biden is securing 87,000 new IRS agents to tackle tax fraud, which really means tackling you and the small business owners here in America. They're coming after you because there aren't that many millionaires and billionaires and wealthy corporations to keep everyone on a roster like that busy every day. 87,000. And then I saw the new numbers for inflation, still jaw-dropping, 8.5% in July. And the Democrats are actually taking a victory lap on that. Can't make that up. Wonder if they saw the food prices jump 13.1%, the biggest jump to feed your family since 1979. I mean, it's not like they actually care. Don't worry, there is no bread. Let them eat cake. Then, of course, we still have the blowback from the outrageous and indefensible raid on President Trump's home of Mar-a-Lago by dozens of armed FBI agents that ransacked Melania's clothes, busted open the man's safe, all to search for documents, we're told, to uphold the Presidential Records Act. Which is really weird considering there's no enforcement provision for the law, meaning there's not much that can be done anyway. And he was cooperating, by the way. We'll get to that in a moment. And I say there's not much there except for the pesky provision in the fine print that if somebody was found to have violated this act, it could prevent someone from running for office again. That's the point of all of it. That is the aim of the DOJ. And then it rips off the real reason of the attack and underscores that it was purely political, which I think we already knew. We've also learned more about the judge in the case that authorized the raid by signing the ill-advised search warrant. Not only did he work for Jeffrey Epstein, starting exactly one day after securing a plea deal for the pedophile and infamous sexual predator, but Judge Reinhardt also was involved with the ongoing lawsuit filed by Donald Trump against two-time failed presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. In fact, he only recused himself from that case in late June. The demands are growing louder from both Republicans and Democrats for the foundation of the search warrant to be made public. Make it public. Was it really just a raid to satisfy the National Archives librarians? Because that's about as flimsy as it gets and will push Donald Trump into martyr status. Congratulations. So like I said, a lot to dig through today. Let's continue with where we are. How about this? Senator Rand Paul. Senator Rand Paul says Merrick Garland better have the Trump raid buttoned up good and tight, or he could get tossed out of office. Listen to this.
The order to allow the raid on Mar-a-Lago on Trump's house has to be revealed. I think we have to know, under what pretense do they think this is right. I think it's going to have to wait till November till there's a full investigation. And I've never been a fan of overusing impeachment, but I think there has to be an investigation. And if it warrants it, there's going to have to be a look at whether or not the Attorney General has misused his office for political purposes. Have they gone after a political opponent? I mean, this is beyond the pale. No one would have ever imagined before that we would be using, or one political party would be using the FBI to attack their political opponents. Now, this is really something that's going to require investigation, and I wouldn't be surprised if the investigation leads to abuse of power, that this could even lead to an impeachment of the Attorney General.
And there you have it, an impeachment of the Attorney General. Of course, that happened during Barack Obama's tenure as president. Led nowhere. Florida's Attorney General is also sounding the alarm on the raid on President Trump's home and what it could really mean. Listen to this.
Well, this is unprecedented by the FBI to raid a former president's home, someone that was making noise about potentially running again against a current sitting president. I can tell you as a former prosecutor and judge myself, this tactic seemed overwhelming in terms of what was actually being disputed or sought in terms of the documents. And I think that's shocked the nation. I don't care what political party you're from, seeing an FBI contingent raid a former president's home put everyone on alert. Is the administration or is the DOJ particularly weaponizing a criminal investigation to suppress political opposition?
Suppressing political opposition. That's what we have here, right? Not going anywhere. And again, let me say some things about what we've learned. about Donald Trump's cooperation with the National Archives demand. Before his home was raided 2 months ago, Trump received a grand jury subpoena. Nobody knew about it. It was secret. For classified documents belonging to the National Archives. They cooperated. They said, come get and tell us what you need. And then Trump personally surprised the agents that appeared. 3 FBI agents came to his Mar-a-Lago compound June 3rd. He greeted them as they came to pick up a small number of documents compliant with the subpoena. The subpoena requested any remaining documents he might possess with classification markings, even if they involve photos of foreign leaders, correspondence, mementos, whatever. Trump signals his full cooperation and said this, look, whatever you need, let us know. And the agent said, great. We want access to the 6-foot by 10-foot storage locker where he has clothes, shoes, documents, and mementos from his presidency. Given Trump's instructions, they complied. They opened it. This is one of the places they allegedly searched just this week, Monday. 5 days later, the DOJ sent officials an official letter to Trump and the lawyers asking them to secure the storage locker with more than the lock they had seen. So the Secret Service installed a more robust security lock to comply with the request. He's cooperated every step of the way, but that's not good political theater, now is it? Good political theater is 40 agents raiding Mar-a-Lago with lights flashing in the darkness. That's what looks good to people on TV. Around the same time, the Trump Organization received a request for surveillance footage around Mar-a-Lago covering the locker. They gave it. The more we learn, the more confusing this gets, said George Washington University law professor Jonathan Turley on Fox. Did they relay this history to the magistrate that, according to these sources, that the president had cooperated fully? Cooperated fully. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. He cooperated every step of the way, and they raided his home anyway, even though there was an open line of communication with Trump and his attorneys. And when they asked for everything, they got everything they asked for. Let that sink in. When we come back, we'll turn our attention back to the economy. To the economy that Joe Biden seems to want to take a victory lap on. Strange but true. We'll continue on the Steve Gruber Show. Don't you go anywhere.